gobble gobble, Mac. It's Thanksgiving week. How you doing?
My life is hell. I work in retail.
Yeah. I definitely I feel you there. Yeah, I worked retail too many damn holiday seasons, and even now this is still my busiest season because of the holidays. So, although I don't have the same retail crap to deal with, I am crazy busy this time of year. So, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, this might be a bit of a low energy episode for me. I'm just exhausted from the past few days.
Yeah, I feel you for sure. Like, yeah, Thanksgiving is like our big. That's like the big like single day wine holiday. So, yeah, like I sent an order to one of my accounts yesterday, and they got like 32 cases, and I went in today to see if they needed anything for tomorrow, and they're getting like 38 more tomorrow.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. But yeah, it's all right, you know.
Yeah, I work. My department of the store, we deal with a lot of like holiday orders and holiday specific things, such as turkeys and gravy and all that kind of crap. So we get so much in this time of year that we don't actually have room to store all of it. So
Okay.
what they do is they have it's they call it a turkey truck. It's literally a refrigeration truck that just sits in our dock throughout the entire season, and we just store stuff in there and we open and close it as needed. So it's a bit weird.
That's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, but there's never enough room, and we can never get a larger one because of the size of our dock. But we do have a proper loading dock, unlike the one at World Market, where like it actually there's a decline so that the truck can be level with the floor when you're unloading it, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, everything in the truck is like slightly tipped over all the time, which isn't really a problem, but it does get to be a bit of an issue when the stacks get really high and the product gets really heavy, and then it just sits there for a bit and the boxes start to kind of collapse underneath their own weight.
Yeah.
So like the other day, or it may have even been today, I don't remember. It's been a whole fucking mess. I went in there to like grab something, and I like pulled this box out from the top of the stack, and it was kind of at the front of the truck, kind of wedged in between like where the stack is and where like the wall of the truck is. And I took this box out and the whole thing started to tip over.
Oh no.
So I like threw my entire fucking body weight, all 140 pounds of me, small ass motherfucker, into this stack of shit, and I like wedged it back in there, and I was like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? So I had to find a similarly sized box full of something else, and like Indiana Jones style, like take one box out and swap the new one in so the rest of the whole stack wouldn't collapse. And I warned the next person going in there, I was like, do not remove this box until the rest of the stack has gotten smaller. It will collapse.
Oh, that is awesome. I love that you got to pull the old switcheroo.
I'm glad I was too, because I don't know how like mentally I could have handled having that fucking stack fall down.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that worked out for you. Yeah, that would have been real bad. Yikes. It's cool about the truck though. I'm still like fascinated by this refrigerated truck is like overflow.
It's a smart idea, but we always we need more space somehow. It's still not enough. Like we just get that much shit that even that is not enough.
Yeah. Ugh. Damn. To give you an idea of how like crazy busy it's been the last couple weeks for me, Um. Well, so the people listening don't know this, but you and I were texting the other day, and I was like, man, I'm just like I feel overworked. Like every day just feels the same. And I was in one of my accounts today, and I was like, damn, this is like our busy week. Like they only kind of need like a small order. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, it was last week that I was like, I don't think I sent him an order last week. And I was like, well, no, never mind. It must have been 2 weeks ago. I looked back. It was like the first week of September. Like that was like 2.5 months ago. Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking that was either like last week or the week before. So like, dude, it's just flying by. So yeah. Yeah. That's crazy
the thing. Like it's so overwhelming that it feels like it's never going to end, and it feels like it's hell, and it's just like so much work and you never have enough time. But in reality, it goes by real quick.
It does. It goes by so quick. Oh, yeah.
But
and then
I guess that's really a testament. That's really a testament to just how awful it is to work in retail during this time period, because it's still, despite only being like a week or two, in reality, it's like by far the worst part of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say I did like some of those like crazy busy Saturdays in December working at World Market, where you're just like literally all you're doing is like someone stopping you and they're asking you where those ginger snaps are in the red tins, and you just do that, and before you know it, like your shift is like half done. So sometimes it's kind of cool. But
I see what you're getting at, but I think overall I would rather be bored than overwhelmed.
I would too. And
ideally I'd be busy enough to not be bored, but being so busy that I feel like I can't fucking handle it, that's a bit much.
Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of where I was going to go with it, because I remember there were times where, you know, you walk from one side of the store to the other, and you're stopped, 5-6 times on your way there. And on those days, sometimes it can feel like you're like, oh man, this day is flying by. I've helped like 100 people. And you're like, oh, I've only been here an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you've done like 2 days worth of work and you're only a little bit into your shift. So that kind of sucks. But
yeah. Oh my God. That was my like, that's been several days this week. I had one day a couple weeks ago, I had to put away literally 600 pounds of turkey.
Damn, that's a lot of turkey, bro.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking miserable.
Damn. And they're cold.
Yeah, I was wearing my jacket the whole time. I've kind of put a pause on the doing job apps for a bit while I kind of just processed the holidays, but I am endeavoring to no longer be in retail by this time next year.
Nice. That's a good goal to strive for, because I mean, even though I'm semi involved, the other side is so much better, man.
Yeah, I never even told you about it. I had a really good job opportunity pop up a few weeks back. It was a steel purchasing for a steel distribution plant. Seemed like it would be a really good gig, and I did really well in the interviews, and they called me afterwards and they were like, there's literally nothing wrong with your interview. We just found someone who is more qualified. We're sorry.
Damn.
I was like, damn it. I was like, shit, fuck.
That sucks.
They were really cool about it though. I was right in thinking that my interview was good. They really liked me. They said they might have an opportunity soon. If they did, they would call me. I haven't gotten a call, so I assume that didn't end up happening, but they asked me to keep applying, which is common practice, but it did genuinely feel like they really did want to hire me. They just found someone better.
Well, I mean, that's it's at least good because it can be like real discouraging if you just like either don't get interviews or you go on interviews and you just like don't hear anything back or like, whatever. So, I mean, at least that's like, that should be a little bit of a confidence boost for you. Like, you went on this interview, you did really well, and yeah, you just got to do it again.
Yeah, I really wish I could find a way, because we talked about this before when I was talking about doing or applying for like video editing jobs. Like, I feel like I'm very well spoken and decently intelligent, and I present myself very well. So if I can just like get in an interview, even if I'm not the most qualified candidate, I think I'm really good at proving that I would be a good candidate that could be trained to be super good at the job. And I think this kind of proves that like they did really like me, even though I don't have the most impressive resume for the kind of job I was going for. So if I just need, I just got to find someone else who's going to give me that chance to talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's really cool. So steel purchasing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew looking for jobs in video editing was going to be hard given the current state of my video production resume. So I figured looking into commercial purchasing would be a good step up in what I'm already doing, but like out of retail.
Yeah.
So I've been applying for stuff like that, like working in a warehouse, buying the stuff that they use or the stuff that they ship out. So that, I can leverage my current buying experience in a way that gets me out of retail. Right.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's not relevant to what I do now, which, I mean, I wasn't expecting to be doing what I do now. I was looking for when I first started looking for marketing jobs before I found this one, just from like my LinkedIn page, putting my like world market like job titles, I kept getting like people interested for like operations management jobs in like all sorts of different places. Which was just funny because, I mean, yeah, I guess I technically was ops manager for a while, but I mean, that didn't really entail all that much extra other than like making the schedule.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, when you put that kind of stuff on your resume as like a buyer, yeah, you'll attract jobs in all sorts of other fields that need buyers, because not everything is dependent on like, your knowledge of the product. You just need to know like the right amounts and do it effectively, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, didn't work out, but I think it was a good chance to kind of see if there was any interest in getting a person like me into a position like that. And I think there is. So that kind of, it was disheartening, but it still gave me a decent amount of confidence. So.
Nice. I don't know if we ever finished talking about this or not, but did you ever get all your stuff straightened out with like your driver's license and license plate and DMV?
Yeah, eventually. I definitely put it off a little bit because I didn't want to fucking deal with it, but eventually I got it all figured out. I officially have an Oregon driver's license and Oregon license plates. Fun fact, Oregon driver's license are good for 8 years instead of 4, and Oregon license plates are good for 2 years.
Oh, I guess that's kind of cool.
It's kind of nice, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if they have like online or like the kiosk renewal like they did in Michigan. So at least I won't have to deal with it for 2 years.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's cool. The reason I ask is because I had to get all my stuff taken care of. And I was kind of dreading it because I was like, my license is expiring, and I needed to like change my address, and I wanted to get like the new design license plate we got, and so I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna have to go in there because I didn't think you could change your address online. So it was like leading up to needing to go, and I'm like, I wonder if I have to make an appointment. So I go online, and they're like, you can make appointments starting at like, I don't know, 8 a.m. tomorrow or something like that. I'm like, crap. So I'm looking, and I'm seeing like what services you can get online, and it has change of address. And I was like, okay, I need to make sure I can do this before I like renew my license, because they have to know where to send it,
Sure.
So I go through like the change of address, and I mean, I have like a super long, really goofy address. Because I do live along like an interstate. The word interstate is part of my like mailing address.
Okay.
So it was like fucking with the form, because I typed it in, and it said like, okay, go ahead and verify this. And there was one that was like, it was styled like a little differently. Like it had like a period in a different spot for one of the abbreviations or something. And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, that one's verified. Let's go with it. Well, when I went to like click to next, it was like giving me trouble, because it's like, your address is more than like X amount of characters. And I was like, what do you want me to do? That's where I live.
I'm surprised that's even a thing.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like address, and then like if you had like a unit number, like the whole, like the number, name, and unit number had to be under like a certain amount of characters. And I guess maybe it's just to fit on your license or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe they have like special ways to abbreviate it or something. So I ended up having to go in, but I made an appointment, and it was probably even faster than doing it online. I was in and out of there in like 10 minutes, and I got a new picture. It was awesome.
That's surprisingly quick.
Yeah, like I walked in, and there were like a couple people like being helped, but like there was nobody waiting, and there was like no line. And I like told the girl like who was, I guess, like checking you in, I like gave her like my name, and she's like, okay, just go over there, stand in line, and someone will be with you. And she actually didn't even say in line. She's like, stand between those two blue ropes, because there wasn't even a line. It was awesome. So I was super happy about that.
That's surprising. I was at my DMV for like 2 hours. It was pretty miserable.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
I brought my tablet and my notebook so I could work on the video I'm writing right now.
Okay. Have you told us what that one's about, or is it a secret, or do you want to?
I don't remember if I talked about it on the podcast. I'm doing a video on a manga series called Vinland Saga.
Okay, I know nothing about that.
Well, I wouldn't expect you to. It's
right.
It's a really interesting story set in Viking era England, centered around Vikings, and it follows a character who the name of the manga, Vinland Saga, comes from the Vinland Sagas, which are two Old Norse stories about explorers finding and attempting to settle Vinland, which is what they called North America. And so Vinland Saga follows the story of one of the characters who's involved in the Vinland Sagas, but there's nothing known about him when he was young or how he got to be the person that he was in the Vinland Sagas. So Vinland Saga kind of has a fictional retelling of this character's life in a way that tries to explain how he becomes the man that he is, and it's really, really, really well written. So I'm writing a video about it.
Nice.
The script is currently 40 pages long.
Okay, how long are the scripts normally for your videos?
Well, it varies wildly because, the Chainsaw Man video was 2 hours long while the Emergence video was half an hour long. So those are obviously very different length scripts. But for context, the Chainsaw Man video, which is an hour and 48 minutes, was a 31-page script. So
okay.
It's a good bit longer than that right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, of course, a lot of that's going to get cut out or shortened as I revise the script, but I do expect that it'll be longer than Chainsaw Man video.
Okay. I thought of something that I need to bring up. My coworker Brian on the last episode, I told the story about the wardrobe issue. And how he got some heat for wearing like a thermal shirt over his polo or whatever he had on underneath it. And I intentionally didn't tell the full story because I didn't want to completely throw him under the bus and embarrass him. But as he was listening to the episode, he's like, dude, why didn't you tell the whole thing? And I was like, man, I was trying to save you, but okay. And he's like, man, now you got to tell it. So I will tell the full story. Everything I said before was accurate. It was just him wearing a thermal over a collared shirt. But it was a day that we had our last sales meeting. And so our whole sales staff and all the managers and office crew and everything were all at our warehouse for this meeting. And apparently when our boss talked to him about his attire, he said that someone came up to the meeting and goes, "Is Brian wearing pajamas?" So yeah, that's the full story. And that is freaking hilarious because now I don't let him live it down. Oh, hey, you sleeping? It looks like you're all dressed and ready to go.
Wearing some jammies to work, huh? Gonna sleep under your desk?
Yeah, I ask him when he gets home if he changes from his good pajamas into his lounging around pajamas. Oh, yeah. So that was that. That's the story. Brian was wearing pajamas.
I'm kind of with Brian on this one. That's not that bad that's not that bad. It doesn't. I wouldn't say it throws him under the bus at all.
No, but I feel like I don't know. I don't know who I feel like the only embarrassing part is that someone brought that to the attention. Someone had that theory that they look like pajamas and then brought it to the attention of our manager to complain about it basically. So, I mean, whatever. It's like I said, I didn't think any of it was that big of a deal. But I don't know, whatever. Some people just get butthurt, I guess.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Especially if you like getting fucked in the ass.
Okay. Where'd that come from?
I'm just saying, if you like getting fucked in the ass, you're gonna get butthurt sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I would assume. I don't know from personal experience, but you do you. Not
Yeah,
you.
yeah, good save there, Mike.
Not you specifically. Just why do you why? Actually, that reminds me. I heard a joke the other day that I thought was pretty funny. And it kind of goes along with the YDY a little bit. And I suppose this could be taken the wrong way about and be looked at as like making fun of people choosing like their sexual orientation or gender, but I don't think that's the way it's intended, which is why I'm going to go ahead and tell it. And it's genius and just hilarious. But it was sexually, I identify as Little Caesar's Pizza. My pronouns are hot and ready.
Dude, sorry, Mike, that's a meme from like 10 years ago.
Seriously?
Yes, that joke has been bouncing around forever.
Dude, I have never heard that.
I have heard it too many times. It's not even funny to me anymore.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I heard it and thought it was pretty funny.
I don't think people who do who do have gender dysmorphia appreciate those jokes, to be honest. But
I mean, I don't think
it's not being said in bad faith. So
right. I just think it's very clever use of the Little Caesars marketing. Yeah. Let's see. I think I got something else in my notes here. Let's see. What do I got? Oh, my buddy Gary. Man, I'm worried about him.
Is he on the crack again?
He might be. I don't know. I didn't see him this last week. And I noticed that, well, I didn't notice any people giving out samples, but they had something. I'm trying to think of what it was called. It's like a kiosk or like a kiosk or like a vending machine to give out samples. And I think you like scan.
Oh no.
I think you like
they got robots to replace the samplers.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be everywhere. I just saw one. I saw one last week, and I didn't see anyone giving out samples. I don't know. So Gary might be in.
Damn.
Gary might be in for some trouble.
This is for all those people that thought customer service jobs could never be replaced by robots.
Yeah, and I like kind of like glanced over at it to see what the sample was. Granted, it said it was out of samples. But I think they were like waffles or something. So it's not even something like super simple, like dispense bags of candy or, you know, whatever, like bags of pretzels or something you can individually package. It was like something that needed to be cooked. So, or at least warmed. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. But I hope that doesn't mean that Gary is out of a job.
Hope not. What are you gonna do without your Gare Bear?
I don't know. The last time I did see him though, he started having a weird, actually kind of ironic conversation with me almost about how some people don't know about boundaries. And
a little bit lacking in self-awareness, maybe.
Yeah, and I just thought it was super goofy, as this is the guy that like told me about the results of his colonoscopy. So, you know, he's an interesting guy. I hope he's doing all right.
Makes you question what his boundaries are.
Yeah. Yeah, and what sort of boundary was crossed with him?
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the way he said it, it made it sound like someone had crossed it. And then he specified especially personal boundaries, which I don't know if he meant to say like physical or if he meant personal as in like telling people about the results of your colonoscopy.
Right.
But yeah, he could be a little more self-aware. That's for damn sure. You got any Thanksgiving plans?
Yeah, actually, a friend of mine / old coworker is invited me over to do Thanksgiving dinner with him and his wife, who I also used to work with. So I'm pretty excited about that. I haven't seen them in a while. They're good people.
Nice. Are these the barbecue people?
No.
Oh, okay. Because didn't you also used to work with both of them?
Yes, there's a lot of people who I used to work with because no one wants to work in retail.
Well, okay, but like they were also a couple that you worked with, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So yes, Dick, I understand you used to work with a lot of people, but are there a lot of couples where you used to work with both of them?
Not really.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Thanks,
all
Dick.
All right, Mike. What did you take an ass pounding earlier? You're getting really butthurt over there.
Oh, no. That's cool, man. That's good. Right on. You gonna do any cooking or baking to contribute to this?
Fuck, I forgot I got to pick up wine for them. No, they're doing kind of like a non-traditional Thanksgiving, so I don't really know what to bring for them. So I was just gonna pick them up a bottle of wine and be like, hey, here you go. I'm not gonna drink any of this. Have fun.
Ooh, what's on the menu? Maybe I can give you a recommendation.
They're doing tamales.
Oh, fuck, dude. I don't know what kind of wine you drink with Mexican food.
I was going to pick up some Beaujolais Nouveau because that's like, seasonal thing.
Yeah. Nouveau. Yeah.
What's going on now and all.
Yeah. That's one you could go with.
It's nice and safe. It's popular.
Yeah, it's popular. And yeah. Wherever you decide to buy it from, they're going to be happy to get rid of it because once like Christmas hits, it just sits and nobody wants it anymore. So everyone loves to sell out of it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it where I work, so I can get a discount on everything. So,
oh damn, that's cool. We can't do that here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's kind of nice if you drink. I don't, so can't really take advantage of it that often.
Right. I heard about something recently within the last, I don't know, couple weeks. And this actually was within the last couple weeks. This wasn't like 8 months ago. I guess there's like a thing on TikTok called, I think it's like the Taylor Port Challenge. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Okay. When I heard this, it reminded me of something I had already had in my notes from months and months, probably more than a year. It's just been sitting in my notes. But this there's a really, really cheap brand of this like bottom shelf, basically it's like cooking wine. But it's port wine, and Taylor is super cheap. And apparently the thing on TikTok is to basically like pour a glass of it or like just chug a huge amount of it, and it would get you really messed up. I've never tried drinking a mass amount of port because that would be disgusting. It's like thick and sweet, and it's super high in alcohol. And The really low quality ones are, I'm assuming, are like a headache in a bottle. Because they're not meant to be consumed like that. You should only drink like, I don't know, probably like 2 ounces as a serving, and that's it. But it's gotten to the point where like nobody can find it anywhere because everyone's sold out of it, because everyone's making these stupid TikTok videos of them getting drunk off of like a glass of it. But do you remember, God, this must have been probably like 5 years ago when that Capriccio Sangria blew up and the phone was ringing like off the hook?
I don't remember that. No.
Maybe that was right before you started. We carried this sangria one summer, and like nobody bought it. I think we had it in like 4-packs of like little bottles, and I think like all of us bought it to try it, and we're all like, oh, this is so gross. And it's the same kind of thing. It's like, you know, sweet, like super high alcohol. And so like it became a thing on the internet. Well, we discontinued it because nobody freaking bought it. And then like the following summer, I get a phone call and someone asked for it. And I was like, no, we used to carry it. We don't have that anymore. And I was like, that was such a weird phone call. And then somebody else called up like a couple hours later and I answered it again. And, or maybe somebody else did and they just asked me if we carried it. And I was like, no, I was like, tell them we don't have it. I already talked to them. And then like,
thought it was the same person.
I was assuming it was the same person because like nobody bought that shit. And then like someone called later on in the day and I was like, no, we definitely do not have this product. And they were like, okay. They were like, I've been calling around everywhere. And I was like, what? Like, we really don't have it. I promise you. And they're like, okay. And I was like, I mean, like, I don't, you know, just so like you're aware, like I'm very familiar with our wine department. So like, I know what we have. Not everyone here is. So like, if you would talk to someone else, you know, like maybe someone might just be like, I don't know, we don't have it, and not even bother looking. But like, I can guarantee you we don't have it. And like, I felt bad because I kind of started getting mad at them, thinking that this is the third time that they had called, as this is a product that literally nobody bought or asked for in like a year.
Apparently, like no one wants it so badly that you assumed that no more than one person would ever call about it.
Right, let alone 3, who at least sounded like the first person that I had talked to. And yeah, then I don't know, maybe the last person on the phone, or maybe like somebody like the next day or something let me know that it was like a thing to like drink an entire bottle of Capriccio. And yeah, I remember Googling it. And yeah, there was all sorts of like weird, like false media claims and all this stuff. And then like World Market like jumped on that and we started carrying it again. But then we got like one shipment of, I don't know, like quite a bit. They actually knew what they were doing. And they like drop shipped us like 50 cases of it. And it was gone in like a weekend, and we couldn't get any more for like a month. It was fucking wild.
It was popping off.
It was popping off, man. But yeah, then the trend went away, and now you can get it anywhere, and nobody cares anymore.
I thought it sounded familiar. I thought that we carried it at World Market while I was there. So I'm sure it was just like a thing that stuck around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it for sure was. And I think we ended up getting like a couple other flavors of it or something, because they make like different like a white and a red, and I think they do like a watermelon or something like that. But yeah, so we definitely picked it up and carried a few of them. But yeah, once that trend went away, nobody cared anymore.
No, the only thing I was around for was the fucking Clearly Canadian.
Oh God, were you there? Wait, what, were you there for New York Seltzer?
No, that was before my time.
Oh damn. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Clearly Canadian, for anyone listening out there who doesn't know, I guess it was like kind of popular in like the 90s or something like that. It was this extreme sugar water is how I would describe it. It was like a carbonated drink with just like a shit ton of like syrupy sugar flavor in it. And they brought it back. I guess like some like manufacturer like bought the rights to it and decided to start producing it again. And so like it came in as like a new product for like a new set, and we had literally like 7 cases of it. And none of us like knew what was coming, but like we opened the doors for the day, and literally within an hour all of the cases were gone, and for the rest of the week we were fielding questions about it, completely unaware that it was even going to be a thing.
Yeah. Yep.
It just kind of hit us out of nowhere, like I literally just out of the fucking blue. Everybody wanted this shit that we had just started selling.
Yep.
And like no one who worked there at the time recognized it or had this nostalgia for it. So no one expected it to be like this huge thing.
Right. Like I vaguely remember it being, well, I guess I remember it being a product back in the 90s, but I really didn't remember anything about like what it tasted like. And honestly,
to be fair, I don't think anybody who was buying it knew what it tasted like either, because if they did, I don't think they would have fucking bought it. It was kind of gross.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically just clear pop, more or less. Like it just, because it's clear, you get tricked into thinking it's like more like water, I guess, you know?
Or like tonic water or sparkling water, but it was not.
No, it was carbonated and it was fruit flavored and loaded, like you said, with like real syrupy, sugary kind of flavoring.
And like you guys know me. I'm a big fucking sugar boy. I bought a ton of candy for Halloween. That shit was like way too sweet for me.
Yeah.
It was unbelievably sweet.
Yeah. But none of us knew what to expect from that onslaught of people. And then like our warehouse ran out of it, and God, remember all those fucking rain checks?
Crazy. Yes, it was. That's exactly what I was about to bring up. It was crazy because like we sold those like first 7 cases or so, and then every single shipment we got after that for like a couple months was like immediately like none of it was going on the floor. All of it was going out to customers as rain checks. Like we would get like 2-3 pallets at a time. Every single case was going out as a rain check to a customer.
Yeah, they were all like pre-sold. And then do you remember, I think this was still when there was the really high demand for it, but do you remember the one truck that we got when it was so cold that like a
ton of them exploded?
Yeah, and we had to like go through and like pick out the ones that had exploded and like wipe the broken glass and sticky off of the other ones.
It was awful. There was a ton of them that busted open.
Yeah, that was a bad time.
Yeah, and then the fad died down, and they still carried a ton of it, but it did not move nearly as well as it used to. But you know what else? Fucking the initial bottles that came in, the barcode was fucked, so you couldn't actually scan it.
Oh my God, that's right.
And we were selling so many of them that to this day, I have the SKU memorized for the fucking, I think it was the Mountain Blackberry flavor, 545178.
That's great. Holy shit.
I still have that memorized because we were selling so much of it, but we couldn't scan any of the bottles. So I'd get like a ton of calls every day asking if they knew if they could if I could go like look at the barcode and find the SKU, and I'd just be like, I don't have to, I know the number.
Oh man, that's awesome. God. The only reason that wasn't a problem is, or well, not a huge problem, was because, like you said, for like months they were all like pre-sold, so most of those people were buying like mass quantities of them.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, 12 quantity, and then they'd bring you like their rain check, or you'd have like the slip with the SKU on it. So it wasn't that big of a deal. It's not like people were buying like one at a time randomly throughout the day off the shelf. But yeah, that would have been a huge pain had they not been so back ordered.
Eventually, like by the time they were able to put them on the shelf more regularly, they did have the barcode issue fixed. So
yeah,
that was all good.
Yeah, we had the same situation, not the barcode thing, just the demand. Probably like a year. I don't know. I thought it was like a year or two before the Clearly Canadian, but my timeline may have been off because it was definitely, like you said, you didn't know about it. But we got these things called New York Seltzer, which was another like 80s, 90s nostalgic product.
My mom loves them. She loves the peach flavor in particular.
Yeah, see, I think the same thing. I think they're taste-wise, I think they're very similar to Clearly Canadian, and the fact that it's just straight up sugary pop, basically.
I thought they were better than Clearly Canadian, but they were pretty overloaded.
Yeah, and those ones are like a little more deceiving. Because I feel like when you hear seltzer, you think of like LaCroix, where it's like,
for sure,
where it's like not sweetened. And then,
they want you to believe that it was a seltzer.
Right. And these came in these like little tiny bottles. Like, I don't know. They were only like maybe like 8 ounces or something.
I think that's about right. It was like, maybe even less. It was like 6 ounces. They were small.
Yeah, but they came in these tiny little bottles, and you're like, oh, seltzer. And like none of us except for like, I'm sure Tim said he knew about them because,
probably Tim.
He's
Tim's like 400 years old.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we all tried them. We're like, oh, this is disgusting. Because we were expecting, like a flavored water, not just some sody pop. But yeah, it was the same thing. The demand for that was through the freaking roof. It's nuts, man.
I remember when I first started working there, we still had like an entire rack dedicated to them, and eventually over the years that dwindled to being like a couple shelves.
Yeah, you probably didn't start too long after that was a thing. Like probably like within a year of us getting them. Because I feel like it really wasn't that long ago. Well, it was a while ago. The gap between that and Clearly Canadian wasn't that big. So Yeah, but I remember our boy Ken. He was there for both of those adventures. So there was like a very specific window where that falls. But yeah, good times with the rain checks.
Yeah, that was that. It's a real trip when stuff like that happens. Nostalgia fucking sells. That's why they remake everything, and instead of just making new things.
Yeah. Yeah, like all the limited edition like fast food items. Not those aren't necessarily like as nostalgic, but they'll do like the limited time where it'll be around for like a month and then it'll go away for like a year. Cuz
at least those are like limited time. I'm tired of like seeing shows get resurrected, but they're not even remotely related to the original. Like, have you seen the discourse around the Velma show?
Yeah, I've been like seeing like a little bit. Like I've been seeing some memes and stuff, but I haven't paid much attention.
So here's the deal for anyone who doesn't know. Their HBO is making like an adult oriented Scooby-Doo show centered around Velma, and there's a lot of people who have a real problem with how it's being approached, and I 100% agree with it. Number one is kind of is the fact that Scooby-Doo doesn't even exist in this universe, which doesn't make any fucking sense. It's a Scooby-Doo show.
Yeah, okay. So strike one. All right.
The other thing, like, you should really watch the trailer because the trailer is so like sad and pathetic because the dialogue is written essentially from the perspective of the writers preemptively combating the criticism that they're going to get.
Okay.
Because like the way the trailer starts, it's Velma writing an email to like a writer or a showrunner about a show or character that she likes and bashing all of the like ways that they're changing it. and they're all like extremely like stupid, petty, piss poor takes on the matter. And it's funny because it shows both a lack of awareness on the writer's part because they don't understand what our issues are, but also just basically them saying, fuck you, we don't even want you watching our show. This isn't for you. Fuck you. Even though it's based on an existing IP and we could have made an entirely new thing, but we didn't. Fuck you. This isn't made for you kind of thing.
Wow. Huh.
So everyone hates it out the gate because it's clear that the writers don't even want us fucking watching it. But there's just a lot of things that they're just doing weird. Like, we've talked about this before, so I'm not gonna like, I'm gonna preempt this by saying I don't have a problem with this. People do because they're stupid, but I don't have a problem with this personally. They've changed like the race and the sexuality of a lot of characters. Like Velma is a gay black girl in the show, which I don't have a problem with because the original Velma, like, her as a character doesn't revolve around her being white and or straight. Like those aren't parts of her character that matter if they're changed. And like Daphne's an Asian woman and Scooby is black, and like I don't have a problem with any of that because none of those characters are tied to, you know, their character isn't based around their race. If it was, that'd be different, but it isn't, so it's fine in my eyes. The problem is just like the way they're presenting some of these characters. Like Shaggy looks completely different. It's not just that he's like, it's not just that he's a black man. It's like he doesn't even look like Shaggy, and they're not even calling him Shaggy. They're calling him Norville.
What?
Which I guess, according to Sean, is like his canonical actual name, but he's not fucking called Norville. He's Shaggy. Why are you calling him Norville?
Yeah.
So in my eyes, he just isn't Shaggy. Like, they don't want him to be Shaggy. He's a black guy named Norville. That's what they want him to be. They don't want him related to Shaggy. There's no reason for him to be related to Shaggy other than the fact that it's like a Scooby-Doo universe. That's the only reason he exists as far as I can tell. He's just a new character. That's how I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just a whole mess of things. Like, the show is just setting itself up to fail. It legitimately feels like the writers just don't want you watching this show.
Yeah. That's
I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people who's 100% against changing a property. Like, again, I don't have a problem with them making Velma black. That doesn't bother me. Velma being white is an important part of her character. You can make her black, you can make her Asian, you can make her gay, you can make her trans. I don't care. None of those things matter to her character. But when you show this level of contempt for your audience, and you show this level of just hatred for the people that are going to criticize it, if you have such a problem with people criticizing you for changing things, maybe just make something new instead.
Yeah. So that was what I was thinking about as you were talking about this. And you know, we've talked before about, you know, how it's ridiculous people getting all butthurt about like changing like the race or gender of a character. And you know, I think that is ridiculous. I don't care. Change the race of a character. The only time that it seems like you wouldn't want to do that is in a situation like this. With a Scooby-Doo like based story that doesn't have Scooby-Doo, I feel like the names and look of the characters are the only connection that you now have to what you're naming it after. It's literally,
they are 100% just using the fact that it's Scooby-Doo in the Scooby-Doo universe to try to garner attention for the show, but making it so obvious to the viewers, hey, this isn't Scooby-Doo. Fuck Scooby-Doo. We hate Scooby-Doo. And you for wanting this Scooby-Doo show to be a Scooby-Doo show. It's like, fuck you. Just make a new show. Make a new IP. You clearly don't want this to be Scooby-Doo, so don't make it Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you want to make a Scooby-Doo show with Scooby-Doo and you want to change some races, yeah, go ahead. It's still a show about Scooby-Doo.
But yeah, it's still a Scooby-Doo show. That's fucking fine.
You can't, like, make a show about Scooby-Doo without Scooby-Doo in it and then change everything about all the characters, including some of their names, and expect it to be related. That's ridiculous.
It's so absurd. I don't know like what marketing exec is looking at this like, yeah, let's make the trailer a big fuck you to everyone who's gonna have a problem with this. Like you understand you're completely straw manning why people have a problem with this.
Yeah. God, that is so stupid. That really irritates me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send you that trailer. It's like it's unbelievable.
Wow.
I hate that. I'm so tired. Like I've been on this tirade many times before. I'm so tired of like just this complete lack of ability or interest to make new things and just continuously re-releasing. Okay, I'll talk about a recent example. So I played a game recently on stream called Prey, and Prey was an amazing game. I loved Prey. It's like one of the best games I played this year, right?
Yeah.
Prey, when it first came out, had some controversy surrounding it because the name Prey was already the name of an existing franchise, and it was a franchise that the publisher had the rights to, and they named the game Prey essentially to garner attention from people who liked the original Prey, but this Prey had nothing to do with the original Prey.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
They weren't set in the same universe. They weren't the same kind of game. Nothing. It just had the name Prey stapled onto it to garner some extra attention so they could say like, hey, we're bringing back Prey, even though they weren't. And years later, the developer, Arcane, came out and said like, we did not want to call our game Prey. The publisher made us do that.
Ugh.
It's like, this was an amazing game. I had so much fun with it. Incredible fucking game. Why couldn't it stand on its own legs as a new IP? If it's a good game that you have confidence in, just give it its own IP. Don't try to piggyback off of something else because you're lacking creativity in the marketing department, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear ya. Ugh. That you might know which movie it is. But they made that one. It's either like Halloween 2 or 3 that is like not related to any of the other Halloween movies. Do you know what I'm talking
I do not
about?
know about that.
Okay, so like there's the typical, Halloween, Michael Myers, I'm sure most of us have seen like one or part of one of them at some point because they've made like, I don't know, like 15 of them over the last like 30 years or 40 years. And it seems like there's new ones out like every year. But as far as I know, I think there's only one of them. And it's either the second or third one that doesn't involve Michael Myers and has a completely different plot other than it's a horror movie set at Halloween. It's like, Michael Myers is chasing Jamie Lee Curtis around for like 14 movies. And then there's like a random one with like haunted masks that like take over the children that wear them.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And like, if you wanted to be like, hey, you know what? Let's make a movie franchise just called Halloween and everyone will be a different theme. That would work. I could see that, the same like production company, maybe the same writers, directors, producers. So they maybe all have the same like look and feel and writing, but just, like a completely different story every time, all revolving around a horror at Halloween. But no, they're all about Michael Myers except for the one. That's it, just the one.
Oh man, the worst part too is like I do get where it comes from. It in this like day and age of like this saturated market, it is so hard to get attention on and to market a new IP.
Yeah,
it's an unfortunate reality that no matter how angry we get about it, this shit does work. Like we said before, like nostalgia sells. Even if this show has nothing to do with what it's like piggybacking off of, it'll still, garner attention. Even if it ultimately backfires, it'll get the views that it needs to like recoup some of like the production costs or whatever. But it's so frustrating because like it happens in video games so much where they're constantly like remaking and remastering and bringing back old franchises, but people are just like, it's so obvious that it has nothing to do with it and they just needed something to market it with, and it kind of just feels like there needs to be a resurgence in like how to market a new IP because it's just not happening. I went to see a movie the other day, and while I was waiting for the movie to start, I was watching the trailers, and I saw this trailer for like the most generic like action movie trailer like I've ever fucking seen. And do you want to guess what the name of the movie is?
Oh God. Action movie?
It's called Plane. That's the entire name of the movie. It's just called Plane. Like that is the most fucking ridiculously undercreative title for a movie I've ever fucking heard. You're calling it Plane because the movie starts on a fucking plane. That's why you're calling it that. That title doesn't tell me anything about this movie other than that there's a plane in it. How is that supposed to catch my attention?
Well, okay, yeah, so along with that, almost the same thing. There was a movie, I want to say it came out, I want to say like around the beginning of the year, with Channing Tatum, and it somehow involves, I think, him making like a cross-country trip with a dog to like, I don't know, go to like a funeral for its owner or something. I don't know about the plot. It didn't look that great. It's like it's like a stereotypical, like him and the dog don't get along. And then by the end, they're friends or something like that,
Classic.
But the name of the movie is literally just Dog.
Fuck that, dude.
Right?
It's so shit. Like all of like the most iconic fucking series out there have simple but effective names. You know, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. They're short, but they're enticing. You can't just give your title a single fucking word and expect anyone to be interested in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna be rebranding next week. We're gonna just, you know, the Breakroom Nachos. It's getting stale. It's hard to market. So we're gonna be the Joe Rogan Experience from now on.
Nice. You can start talking about Alpha Brain.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't have to. We don't have to have anything to do with the Joe Rogan Experience. We're just using his name for marketing purposes.
Oh, okay. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, so we'll catch you guys next time on Joe Rogan Experience 87. Appreciate you stopping by and, you know, suck down some horse steroids or something. That's what he tells people to do, I think.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed episode 86, and hope you all had a good Thanksgiving.